you. Yes, you, watching this video. Do you want to own a piece of Scribbler? Only not a lock of hair or blood or flesh or anything else that will get you in trouble with the law? Well, now you can, with t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags and mugs featuring Obab Scribbler at her Teespring store. You know you want to. I shall now stop talking in third person and send you on to the video. Be lovely to each other and enjoy the show.
Had you told Sunset Shimmer 24 hours ago that she'd still be in the human world playing video games with Rainbow Dash, she would have laughed in your face and called you an idiot. Funny how quickly things change. It was about 9 at night, with the last 4 hours or so basically being non-stop Street Fighter, their only respite being when they went down for dinner. After a hearty serving of vegetarian chowder, a personal favourite since Sunset came to Earth, they continued their experimentation, the redhead girl trying out every single character in the roster. Eventually she found someone she could stick with, in the form of Sakura. To her surprise, there were quite a few characters she was decent with, even Dan, who, after a few rounds, she realised could actually be kind of funny. But Sakura's whole story spoke to her. Much like Sunset herself, she was a student, and her eagerness to impress Rio warmed her heart. And maybe provided some inspiration for how she wanted her next meeting with Twilight to go. Perhaps, with enough effort, she could end up making at least one princess proud of her. The night neared its apex, as the two girls were locked in what would be their final match. Sunset blocked Yoon's attack on the screen, and countered with a quick jab, followed by a low, heavy kick. Because it knocked Yoon down, that gave her a chance to unleash a super move. With about half a bar left and enough meter on her ultra gauge, Sunset did the classic input that she knew by heart as a Shotokan staple. Down, forward, and the button for all 3 punches.
Ah! No!
Dash exclaimed, seeing the cinematic play out on the other side of the screen.
Oh yeah, Dash.
Sakura's Shinku Hadouken shot out, catching Yoon as soon as he stood up and dealing the last bit of damage needed for Sunset to take the round. Yoon's scream could be heard as he fell to the ground, and the victory animation played, giving a much-needed sense of accomplishment for the former bully.
Alright. Not bad. Seems you found a new main, huh?
Rainbow said, patting Sunset on the back.
Maybe. I think I might try a couple others, though. I also really kind of liked Fei Long.
Rainbow chuckled, before looking at the clock.
Well, as much as I'd love to keep this up, I really need to get home. But still, thanks for letting me in, Sunset.
To this, Sunset smiled.
I should be thanking you, Dash. I didn't believe it was possible, but, well, you've opened my mind a little.
Well, don't expect me to give too many speeches like that once this whole thing wears off. I'm not usually this good with words.
Sharing one last giggle and a hug, Rainbow Dash was taken home by Luna, and Sunset was given a chance to finally ruminate on all that had happened today. And boy howdy, what a day it had been. She didn't dare call this the best day of her life, but the latter half was up there. What should have been impossible had been handed to her on a silver platter, all because of one stubborn athlete who genuinely seemed to believe there was hope for Sunset Shimmer. She should have had every right to hate on her former tormentor, but instead she planned to stand by her. And now that she knew that, the last thing Sunset wanted was to let Rainbow Dash down. Letting out a yawn, Sunset realized all the excitement had genuinely drained her. Unfortunate too, considering she had so much to think about. Like how tomorrow she had something to look forward to, and now she had to start planning to meet the other girls one-on-one. The main problem was she had no clue where to begin, and no idea what she should even offer to do with them. With another yawn escaping her lips, Sunset gave in and let her head hit the pillow. Perhaps she could sleep on it. Sunset awoke not in her bed, but rather on a cold hard ground, staring at the blankest, most empty ceiling she'd ever seen. It seemed to go on forever, like an endless void, matching everything else in whatever direction she looked.
Okay, not what I was expecting in my dreams tonight.
A cursory glance around the area gave her no info, and yet it seemed to her like she should have been looking for something. But where her eyes failed, her ears succeeded, detecting a sound in the distance. Whatever it was, she could not entirely tell, but it was coming from behind her. Sure enough, looking back revealed a small blotch of red in the distance, and a small pit in her stomach formed. Without even knowing for sure what it was, Sunset had a hunch and stepped forward, some part of her wanting confirmation. Slowly but surely, each step brought her closer to both the sight and the sound. First thing to become clear was the noise, which was nothing more than growling. Not like a beast, but rather like a person pretending to be an animal. Second thing to become clear were the streaks of yellow that only made Sunset's unease grow. After what felt like a few minutes, though she really had no idea given how weird dreams could be, the truth was revealed, and it was exactly as Sunset had feared. Sitting there on a leather couch in the middle of the void was her. Or rather, a form of her, one she'd hoped never to see again. But something was off. Was her hair different? And why was she in pajamas?
Well, I'm gonna eat you,
the demon said, a lax smile on her face as she brought a toy T-Rex's jaw over to a toy Triceratops.
Oh no! These things rule.
The dark creature looked to her human self, and Sunset tensed at what that could mean. She saw those black sclera, and it reminded her how distinctly inhuman she had been only a night before. Now the beast was staring her down, and she had nowhere to run.
Oh hey, you made it! Good on you. I've just been playing Dinosaurs. You want to join me?
Hearing that made Sunset grateful she wasn't drinking anything, because she would have spit it out on the spot. Of all the things her demon form could have said to her, that one was so far out of left field that she was pretty sure it came from a different stadium, on a different continent.
I'm sorry, what?
Sunset sputtered.
Well, we gotta do something while we're asleep, right? And this is all I got for now. I might get more, but I don't know.
Demon Sunset asked innocently.
Where did you even get those? Why is there a couch in my mind?
The demon shrugged, still smiling like an idiot.
Don't know. Still though, it's comfy. And so are these Jimmy Jams.
Sunset raised an eyebrow at that.
You know, I feared I'd see you again, but this is not what I was expecting. Well, I wasn't expecting a couch or toy dinosaurs, but hey, we got them. You want one? No!
Sunset protested.
You will. No one can say no to dinosaurs.
The demon declared smugly.
Okay, what's up with you?
Her dark counterpart tilted her head, looking at Sunset as if she'd asked a far more difficult question than was actually asked. The confusion on her face did not last very long, though, and she just went back to her dinosaurs, earning the ire of her human self.
Hey, I was talking to you! Well, I don't know what you meant by that.
Demon Sunset replied, jabbing the T-Rex with her Triceratops.
Like, what's up with me? That's kind of a big question. Do you mean like, why am I here? Or do you mean like, why am I doing this? Well, both, I guess.
Sunset shrugged, furrowing her brow at the other's antics.
And why do you seem so mellow?
There was a brief silence as her monstrous caricature placed the playthings to her side, leaning back into the plush leather. She grinned, and Sunset could see that while the demon had fangs still, they were far less pronounced than she remembered.
Well, why I'm here first. That one's real easy. I never left. Okay, that tracks.
Sunset thought.
I know, don't it?
Sunset took a step back. She was about to ask how the demon knew what she was thinking before it occurred to her. They were in her mind. No shit her thoughts could be heard.
Anyway,
Demon Sunset explained, shifting on the couch to get comfortable.
After we got destroyed at the fall formal last night, I've just been here. All I remember is getting hit by a giant rainbow blast, and now everything's just great. Oh my gosh. I'm not even sure what to say to that.
In truth, as soon as Sunset heard that, she tried to stifle a chuckle. The idea of a raging she-demon brought down by getting her high was quite amusing, loath as she was to admit it.
Why? Were you expecting something of me? Well...
Sunset rubbed the back of her head.
I guess I was imagining you'd be a little more haunt my nightmares and a little less wanna play dinos with me. Well, why would I want to do that? I don't know, I guess. Like, aren't you an evil me or something?
Demon Sunset barely moved, but her human self could see that the word evil brought her a mild discomfort. She looked away for a second. Smile faded.
I don't mean to sound mean or anything, but you were the evil you.
Her demon half said, voice barely above a mumble.
I'm just you after you put on the element of magic.
A sea of emotions ran through Sunset at that declaration, and she couldn't even look her demon side in the eye anymore. With no semblance of time, it was impossible to tell how long they'd avoided each other's gaze. It could have been hours, or it could have been seconds. All she knew was that the demon found the strength to look at her first.
But that's okay. You're not evil anymore. And plus, once the high wears off, we'll be even less evil, because by then, our friends will have helped us a lot. Well, unless it wears off tomorrow. But today was pretty fun with Dash, right?
Sunset's eyes widened.
You knew about the... Wait, what am I saying? Of course you'd know about that if you never left. Careful, somebody's learning. But seriously, girl, I saw everything, and I felt everything. All that sad junk you felt, I felt that too. Same with all that happy-sappy stuff you had with Dashy. All of it?
Sunset asked. Demon Sunset nodded.
All of it. Even the part where I laughed so hard at Rainbow's story that my drink came out my nose? Especially that part, babe. Felt weird as heck, but it was worth it.
Once again, Sunset was face to face with something that simply made too much sense, despite the insanity of it all. First it was Dash, but now it was herself. Still though, it added up that if they were truly the same person, she would feel everything. But even so...
So, what happens to you, then? Are you just gonna be stuck in my mind for the rest of my life?
Demon Sunset shrugged.
I think I'll just fade away over time. So don't worry, I won't be here forever. And you're okay with that? Sunset, what part of I'm you did you not get?
To that, Sunset looked away.
Kinda hard to reconcile that when we're having a conversation.
The demon chuckled and looked at her human self, dead in the eyes. Despite the dilated pupils and generally laid-back demeanor, Sunset could see a familiar spark of something behind them. Thankfully, it was a spark of something she didn't actually hate about herself right now.
I don't mind, really.
Her smile was almost as strong as Rainbow Dash's had been.
I'm part of you, Sunset Shimmer. I'm you, just different. You're sunset, I'm sundown. I'm Vesper, I'm evening, I'm evening. Evening. Making things even. Yeah, that's who I am.
Sunset blinked in confusion, and Demon Sunset blinked in kind.
What was I talking about? Whatever it was, it made about as much sense as anything else today.
Finally giving in, Sunset decided to sit down on the couch. A wave of levity enveloped her as the leather seemed to have the perfect amount of give, making the sofa far more comfortable than she'd been expecting. Hell, it was even more comfy than the couch out in her living room, and that was saying something. But hey, she could work with that.
I guess if you're not going to screw with me, then you'll just be here to remind me where I was. I can live with that, Eventide.
The demon looked to Sunset upon hearing that.
Eventide?
Sunset offered a small smile.
I am not calling you Demon Me if we ever talk again. You're Eventide now.
Eventide smiled as well.
I like it. Sounds all fancy and old-fashioned. I figured you would.
The two Sunsets sat in contentment as the situation they'd found themselves in, as a silence settled between them. Suddenly, all of the problems in her real life seemed a little smaller, as she found this small bit of relief within her own mind and heart. It was genuinely nice to know that her own inward fights wouldn't be quite as difficult as she thought. Still, though, now that she was here, that left one last question.
So, what now?
Eventide looked to Sunset.
What do you mean? Well, we're stuck here until I wake up, so what do we do? Wanna play Dinosaurs?
Sunset rolled her eyes.
You're really not gonna let that go, are you? Come on, you can be Triceratops. I know he's your favorite.
Eventide offered, waving the toy in front of her human self. Maybe it was the adorable figure she was looking at, or maybe it was the boredom that she knew would come from sitting there for Celestia only knows how long. But eventually, Sunset relented, grabbing the Triceratops and earning an excited squeal from Eventide. And so they sat there, playing Dinosaurs. Once again, definitely not what Sunset had been expecting of her dreams tonight. But after the unbelievable day she'd had, maybe that was a good thing.